and welcome back again. So we are on episode 14 of the podcast this week. I am always Jessica. I am always joined by
Emma, hello.
and
Yes.
we're here to
What?
chat about something that we're going to try
Yeah.
and not get too angry about.
Yes, because this
Hmm.
is our May book chat. And it had to happen, didn't it? We had to have something come about that we couldn't avoid talking about because
Mm.
we were saying how we wanted to keep things lighter, and
Light and
really
breezy.
there was
Yeah.
nothing going on in the book community really other than this. For
Yeah, it kind of took over every social platform, I think, and it's
yeah,
still going now. It started and it's not gone away, which it shouldn't because of what it is.
no,
So
that's it.
do we want to
So
get this bit done first, or do we want to do our book things of what we're reading and
I don't
stuff?
know. What do you think? Should we rant first and then
Should we rant
like
and then get
be
onto the good stuff?
yeah, maybe.
That probably makes more
Maybe.
sense.
Okay, we'll try that then. So
All right.
yeah. Oh, so it is the AI meta heist. I'm gonna call it
Yeah,
heist.
yeah, the
Thievery.
heist. Yeah, the
Yeah.
theft of work done by many people.
Do we need to like put in allegedly or something
Allegedly,
or to be
disclaimer.
contested
I
or
don't know
whatever?
if
I don't think
if
it
we
is alleged, is it?
well, if we take the words of the people who are doing it, it's fair use, isn't it? So I think this is fair use of their name and slanderous of
Yeah.
their name.
Mm.
So yeah, if you are not within the book community, and are blind because it's been everywhere. Um, yeah, I don't know what words to use, but yeah, words have been stolen from people. Meta and other places have been using pirating sites to take information from all the books to make their AI better.
Yes. So an article went live in the Atlantic, I think
Yeah,
it
the
was, where
Atlantic.
they made it possible for authors to search on the database that has been used by Meta. So they've scraped this database, and the database is known for just being full of pirated books.
Yes.
So yeah, so Meta are trying to say, well, it was in the public domain. It's like, yes, but it was in the public domain illegally
Yes,
in the
yes.
first place. So
Yeah, if you were of my age, like Napster, that was very
yeah,
illegal. And pirating DVDs you saw on the street, on the floor that you'd pick up
yeah.
that are still in the cinema. Illegal.
Yes, this is it. And this whole fair use thing is this idea that, well, if you read a book, then as long as you're not recreating it word for word, you're not plagiarizing it
Yes.
or using, and that's just
Well,
pardon
yeah,
my
they
French,
said
bullshit.
yeah,
So
they're creating new things from it, therefore they're
yeah.
not stealing the information. It's not,
But
yeah,
like the whole thing is that there's obviously been this train of conversation where Meta considered paying legally for all
yes,
the work they needed to train their AI. And they looked into it, and it turns out that the billion-dollar company can't afford to
it's
pay
really
all
fucking
of,
expensive
yeah,
to
it's
buy all these
awkward and
books.
it's slow. And,
Hmm.
technology can't be slow. We have to move very, very fast towards our dystopian future.
Yes.
So, yeah, they just decided, well, yeah, we'll just do it this way. Yeah. So hopefully that will get overthrown as a fair use thing in the UK because we do have very different copyright law to they
We
have
do.
in the US. Um, and people will get paid. All the people that have had it, which is yourself, you are one
Yeah,
of
it
them.
is. Yeah, mine are on there already. But this is,
Yeah.
yeah, you don't realize the implications it have because mine are in KU. So if
Mm.
Amazon find out that my book is out there, they will blame
Yeah.
me, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
they will kill my account. So anybody
Yeah.
who's got their books in Amazon or in KU, KU specifically, I think, with their 50 billion pages of T's and C's you can't physically read.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. They will kill my account, and that's it. I'm done. I
Yeah.
can't do any more books. I can't do my own personal account because you have to link the two. That's it. I'm knackered.
I don't
So,
think I literally know any author other than myself who hasn't had books in
no,
there.
everybody that I know has got books in there. And
Yeah.
some people, it's like 50 books.
Yeah,
It's
like they've had, they've been writing, they've been
like 20
for
plus years of
20
career.
years. And, for a lot in the romance community, that can be two, three books a year.
Yeah, yeah.
And while I remember I said previously about like how pirating for me, I've never worried about it. I've never expended a lot of my energy worrying about it
No.
because it's such a hydra, isn't it? Like as soon as people clamp down on one database, it's
Yeah, they
somewhere
all
else.
sprout. Yeah.
And like the people that go on there would probably not have bought it anyway. But this is a very, very different animal in terms of piracy, I think, because yeah, it's being used to create something that will also put authors out of work.
Yeah.
You know, it's like AI to write books. So we will learn from your books and then we will write the books and you won't have to be paid
Yeah.
at all
Yeah.
anymore.
We're already
Um,
trying to make covers and do all the other things that
yeah.
no author wants. We don't
No.
want AI covers. We want proper artists putting time and effort in to make them.
Yeah. That's it. And it's not like they can't afford it. And it just sucks so
Mm.
massively in so many ways.
It is. I'm
Um,
kind of wondering, are these people like Scrooge McDuck? Are they all sat in their money bins, just kind of
mhm.
swimming in their money?
I think something must literally happen to their brains once they get to it. You know, it's like the power corrupts thing, isn't it? The
Mm.
how high they get just must mean that they don't care anymore. And then, you know, for the people underneath that would have been the ones literally doing it. Like I've heard there are people saying, "Oh, this doesn't really feel right doing this thing like on my personal laptop or something." It's like, yes,
Yeah,
it's because
yeah.
it's an illegal thing that you're
Well, yeah,
doing.
this is it. They're taking out all of the lines. Anything that says copyright or
Yeah,
the
yeah.
rights reserved, they are removing that from the searches and the AI and
Mm,
disregarding it and just stealing everything else because they know it's
yeah.
wrong.
But like those people, they're just doing their jobs and they're put in this really difficult ethical position as
Yeah,
well, aren't they? You know, they got to do they want to lose their job and walk? It's very easy to go, well, I would never do that. But when you
yeah,
have mouths to feed and, you know, and these things like creep in, like I'm sure so, sometimes you don't realize you're doing something until further along the line. You know, if you've got people higher up telling you it's
yeah.
okay, legally it'll be fine, then you're like, oh, well, okay, there must be something I don't understand about it, or mm,
Well, it's always the way of things, isn't it? I think we've both worked in office jobs, and you people tell you things, and it's like not all bosses, but some have been like, oh, this will happen and this will happen. And they could have very easily been, oh, yeah, we're looking into the payment of this and we're looking into that. So you're looking into it going, yeah, we're not doing it. But the people down below have gone, oh, well, they're probably going to pay people or something. They'll have a look.
well, the more I know about like the bigger the business, from my experience, the less likely they are to pay for stuff.
Hmm.
It's like the same thing apparently with rich people
Money goes to
who
money.
are just personally rich. They don't bother to pay for things because it's not worth their hassle. And then if they get caught out and they get fines and things, they can just afford them. They'll just
Hmm.
pay off the fine. So it's easier to do the the thing that's inconvenient, like parking. So I've got someone in my family is a bailiff. Um, yeah, but he's a bailiff in Kensington,
Oh,
so it doesn't
gee.
feel
That
quite so
sounds fun.
bad.
Ah,
Yeah, he makes a lot of money.
we're going to cheer
Um,
for him.
yeah, and he just says it's all people just parking illegally because they in their very expensive cars because they do not give a shit. You know?
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know if I've told you, I used to work for a clothing company and they've got stores on Bond Street. I don't know if I've ever mentioned them. I'm
I
not
don't
going
think
to
you have.
now. Yeah, and so yeah, I was just in the back offices. I didn't give a monkeys, but they would just go in and take shirts off shelves for famous people to clothe them on
Yeah.
any day that they wanted. And yeah,
Hmm.
oh, do you want 50? We've brought 15 shirts. Wear this one. Do you want to hand them back? Just keep them. Or they will just put them back on the shelves and box them up for somebody else to buy. So
Yeah.
you're wearing a dirty shirt. It's kind of like not too
Yes.
fussed if Tom Cruise wore it. Wasn't Tom Cruise, but yeah, not too fussed if Tom Cruise wore it. I'd
Yeah.
rather not, honestly.
Yeah.
So yeah, they get
Yes.
things hand over fist to them because they are that person.
Yeah.
And
The world is not a fair place. Yes. And while all the writers are so desperately trying to make some money from all
yeah,
of their effort,
and to get just books out there for people to read. But this my concern is that if this is publicized more and more, people are going to start going, all right, well, if they're doing it, I'll do it as well.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like now there's about 4 or 5 different sites that I think they've taken from.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, well, then, yeah, that's it. You've just opened them up to these places. So they'll start using one. And when that one moves to the next one, they're just going to,
Yeah. And this
that's
is
how they
what
get all the books.
happens.
There was an author on Threads, I think, that said there's people in my chat for my new release telling people
Oh
where to
God,
get the
yeah.
books from
They do. They do.
illegally. And she's like, are you really doing this here? You could,
I had to have a conversation with one of my daughter's friends because she she wanted to read Icebreaker. So it's for her parents to
yeah,
parent that.
that's a
That wasn't
discussion
what the
elsewhere.
conversation was about. It was about the fact that she wanted to buy it because she'd been listening to it on YouTube. And I was like, that's not legal. I'm sorry. That must be pirated. But she just didn't understand because she's young and
Mm,
it's not something that if to her it's just there it is. I can watch clips of films online. Why can't I listen to
yeah, why
books
can't I do all the
online?
books? And
And it's like, no, there's an audio book and the audio book is copyrighted and it must be bought or it must be
yeah,
paid for. So, yeah. So sometimes it's ignorance, but sometimes it is not ignorance. Um, yeah, and it's just sad and we want it to change.
yes.
God knows how long it's going to take. I don't know. It's
To
how long do
topple
these
these
things,
these
yeah,
arsehole billionaires off their little pedestals forever.
like we said, another one will sprout up from
Oh
somewhere else,
God,
won't they?
like weeds. Ugh.
Yes. Yeah, the Society of Authors in the UK has been
Yep, they're
organising
trying.
some action. They had a day, well, as we record this, it was only a couple of days ago, but when this goes out, it would have been like a month ago. Um, yeah, to protest and put stuff up online. But even that is difficult because we've had this conversation and it's like the most of the social media where authors use as their workplaces to connect with other authors and to try and publicize their books, they're all owned by Meta.
Yeah,
And it's like it felt so crazy to me that everybody
yeah.
was going on Meta to tell
You
each
could
other
tell
about
better
how
that they
Meta
were.
had fucked them.
Yeah,
So it's like, where else could we go?
yeah. This
You
is
know?
it. We want other places, but every time we try and get one, somebody else buys it. It's like, come on.
Yeah, literally
This
everything.
is why we don't get nice things.
Yes. Yes. So I don't know. We're kind of uh, as a as a podcast, we've kind of stopped using Instagram and Threads
Yeah, we're
currently.
easing up a bit on it, but
Yeah, but we're still around on TikTok and YouTube. I'm dipped my toe into Blue Sky 'cause it's very similar to Twitter. Um,
okay. In a good way or a
well,
bad way?
just
Oh,
in terms
Twitter,
of
new Twitter.
format, just in terms of how it works, I
Okay.
guess, like the feed and the stuff. But I haven't been able to build anything there yet because I just time. It just takes so much time to
Hmm.
build these things. So for the moment, those are the places best to find us is TikTok
Or
and
email us if you're
YouTube.
old. Send us an email.
Yeah, that's it. We don't have a website. Maybe we should look at doing a
Mm,
website. I don't know because we
maybe.
can't. The podcast as a whole has like a web page, front end sort of web page on Spotify and obviously on the YouTube channel too. But yes, I don't know. No one's really said about coming off of Meta. There's been no talk about moving away from it. But I think that's just because it will hurt us more than it hurts them, probably.
This is the thing. Yeah, they're just dropping the ocean in it for some people. So
Yeah,
it's
it's
one day we can look to the future and hopefully it's not as dystopian as the books I read.
maybe, maybe. I don't know. It feels like, yeah, there's we really are living in a dystopia at the moment, it feels like. But maybe every generation feels like that. I can remember talking to my mother-in-law, um, and her saying that she doesn't think like this wasn't very recently, this was a little while ago. But like, oh, it was hard in the 70s too. Like we had like the enforced blackouts and
Mm,
3-day weeks and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, okay. So they probably felt like that then. There were times when they were water was being rationed and
yeah,
stuff so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know if that's a hopeful thing that it just feels really bleak, but actually
it's
that's
not.
just
Yeah,
life is
it's just,
bleak.
yeah.
I
We're
don't
just
know.
becoming older. The kids don't care. We're just,
This is
yeah.
it. They're gonna grow up and go, oh yeah, something was going on about
Yeah. Well,
that, wasn't it?
this is, I remember watching a program about the papers in the 80s and the 90s and how at the time the sun was in the house. You didn't give a
Yeah.
monkeys that there was a lady with her boobs out. It just was. But
Yes.
yeah, but now I look back about it was the AIDS pandemic and how it was actually
Yeah.
publicized to the world. And
Hmm.
it was awful. And I
Yeah.
read it now thinking, Jesus, I can understand how it put the fear of God into people. And
Yeah.
it was lies, but worded in such a way that
Yeah.
it got away with things. So it has been happening. It's just, yeah, we just
Yeah. I
didn't know
think,
enough.
yeah, it was for me, that was kind of like a mixed thing because my memory of it really only kicked in with like the whole uh like Freddie Mercury dying
Mm,
and the massive concert and everything. But yeah, you just don't compute things in the same way when you're a kid and
no,
look at
it's
it in
just,
that way.
mhm.
So yeah. Oh, it was terrible. It really was.
Yeah, yeah, it was. Yeah, yeah, stay away from that one. But yeah, so
Yes.
that's the dreary out of the way.
Yes,
Let's,
that's our ragey bit, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah.
Yeah. So what you been reading, Jess,
Books,
to
books.
disappear
Okay.
from the world,
For that one, yeah,
the
to escape
fantasy
from the
world?
world. So I've had two books. I told you about one yesterday. So I read Hunger in His Blood, which is my Zoe Draven that came out. Thank
Oh
God I
yeah,
had to
yeah.
wait for ages and I know it was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for keep writing the books. So that was my first one. And the one that I got, I don't even know how it tumbled onto me, is Kiss of the Basilisk, which
Oh
I
yeah, yeah,
went
yeah.
and got. And it took me a while when I was sort of just browsing through the first bit to say it was Split and Swallow. I did say that right,
Yeah,
didn't I?
yeah,
So that was the book that was everywhere with a little copy Vardy thing on the front. So
yeah.
that's what I started to read, and I'm really enjoying it. I
You're
didn't,
enjoying it.
yeah. So that was Lindsay Straub
Oh, you're
is
good.
that
You get
one.
all the
But yeah,
names.
yes, but yeah, that is what I am reading at present, and yeah, I'm really really enjoying it. I didn't. I think I stayed away because when it hits TikTok really big, everything
Yeah.
floods with it. Same as we've said before. If it's kind of everywhere, I kind of just step back and give it a bit.
Give it a little bit of time to
Yeah,
settle. Not that
yeah.
it
And so I don't.
changes anything about the book, but it
No,
just
but
gives you a bit of time to let go of any first
yeah,
impressions, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah. So and any spoilers that are in there, but yeah, you get
Yeah.
obviously with everything, you get the some of the love and the some of the hate. So it's kind of yeah, either way, and then come back to it when I've got a blank slate to work with. But yeah, it's really
Yeah.
cool.
Good. Good, good.
What
I've
about your
I've
good self?
uh I've mostly been reading books for the podcast, I
Mm,
think is the thing. So uh yeah, I'm just trying out a couple for because we're getting ready for our 6 degrees of
we
separation
are.
season. But I have managed, I did a short one, I did the four leaf. That was quite big on TikTok a little while ago. It's just a novella
Mm,
and it's like a primal novella.
yay.
Um, yeah, the only thing with it was good, but he keeps referring to his beast inside, and when it's like contemporary romance,
Oh, okay.
it's confusing when you also read a lot of shifter romance because it sounds really odd. Because I'm like, is he going to actually turn
Is
into
he
a
going to
beast?
be?
No, he's not. No, he's not. He's not going to turn into a beast. He's just
So
normal.
what my brain is knowing you're reading contemporary, I was wondering whether you meant like the outside beast or if there was an inside beast.
I
So,
think
yeah,
he meant like, the
please don't
beast
call
in
it a
him that
beast.
wanted to hunt. That
Okay,
that kind
never
of beast.
call
Not
never call
his.
the other thing the beast because that would be
No, that
no
wasn't
woman
like
will
his
say
name
anything.
for it. Mm-mm. No. I mean, probably
That's our
read
topic for this
worse.
month. Names
Yes.
for
And I also read Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young, who I
Mhm.
always want to call Helena Bonham Carter because
Yes,
it just
I was,
sounds the
my brain was
same.
doing the
Yeah,
same.
did the same thing. Which is uh it's a surprise pregnancy book I was telling you about.
Yes.
But it's not a surprise to me as the reader because it's very clearly that is the trope of the
Yes.
book. You know that it's straight on them and it happens like within the first couple of chapters, everything. It's really good. It was just what was interesting about it was that there was a no big sort of third act conflict or breakup, which a lot of people really like, don't they? A lot of
Okay.
people complain about the third act breakup, but it is very odd when it's not there for me, I find, because there was a couple of things that I thought would have made it happen, but they didn't. They just kind of dealt with them. So,
Ah, okay.
yeah,
I
I
quite
don't
like
know.
that. I find that I do notice when it's not there, but I find it quite refreshing that it
It
doesn't.
was it was
Hmm.
nice in that it really went with the type of story that it was. It was really a heartwarming, cozy, lovely story. Like in balance to them dealing with because they're both disabled, both the main characters, and have to cope with that in terms of, oh, okay, well, we're going to have kids as well, and how are we going to, particularly for the heroine, because she's got an underdeveloped arm and hand. So it's like, the practically speaking, that was like a big thing for her. But it like, yeah, it all worked. But it was just like, oh, okay, that's probably one of the first that I've come across where it was very consciously done, I think, rather than it
Yes.
be like, oh, there is a third act breakup, but it didn't really feel because it was over within like
Yeah.
half a
I
chapter
was going to
because
say,
it
yeah, I
wasn't
suppose, yeah,
really,
it puts
yeah,
things into perspective a little bit when it's like, okay,
uh-huh,
it could be this, but actually we don't need that because Jesus, life is
yeah.
already.
So maybe that's it. Maybe
Hmm.
that's the issue with it. I don't mind. I like a conflict if it has happened because all of the steps have been there to lead to it.
Yeah, to that
It's when
point.
it's just shoehorned in, which I think is the problem most people have with it. That maybe those books should have just gone, do you know what, we don't need one.
Yeah,
We're just going to deal with it a different way.
we're just going to manage it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah,
It's happily ever after at the end of it. So it's all good.
yes. So that was it. And other than that, I guess it's just any books that are coming out in May.
Oh,
Have you got
I do
any?
have one. I do have one. I don't know where I wrote it down. Oh, Broken Soul and Bones, LJ
Okay.
Andrews. That's out in May.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
again, I think I found a new little place on TikTok that's giving me books that I've never seen before. So
Ooh, we like
I'm
that.
clinging to that little thread. So that's one I
Mm,
think mid-May. I think 15th is what I've
yeah,
written. So yeah.
lovely. I've got it's it came out at the end of April, but I didn't catch it in last one. In our last month's one, but it's When the Tides Held the Moon by Vanessa Vida Kelly. And it's like a historical fantasy with I think it's got kind of like a carnival or a freak show or something like that. Like back this
Nice.
is like Victorian times. And there's a merman and then there's a boy that's working there. Um, but what like it looks great anyway, but also the author has done the cover and illustrations through the book, which is I just love that. I think more
Oh,
adult books should have illustrations. We like them. Even if it's
mm,
just like a chapter, like a book
just a
plate
one thing. Mm.
on like each chapter or something. It'd be lovely. I'd really love that. Love to see that more. The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig is out on the 20th of May.
Is that
That's
fantasy?
The Night and the Moth.
I have no idea.
Oh, yeah, it's by
I was
the
just,
same
you and
author
moths
that
don't
did.
usually go the same way.
Oh, yeah, yeah. No,
That's
I
sorry.
know.
My brain went, we
But
don't
she
do
did
moths.
write One Dark Window, that
Okay.
duology that I talked about
Yes.
on another season. Is so good. Yeah, I think the moth is a metaphorical name for
Yeah,
someone.
you
I
hope
don't
so.
think it's actually a moth. I'll have
Not a
to look into
mothman.
that before I buy it because
Yeah.
yes. But I'll probably cope as long as it's not meant to be a sexy moth. then
Well, this
I'll
is
be
it. Yeah,
okay.
we have very different takes on things. So I've read many Mothmen, and which
Hmm.
I would never recommend to
Yeah,
you
I
because I
can't.
know your
I,
feelings on this.
yeah,
So I hear
being
moth, and it goes very
described
different
as
way.
furry is not going to
Yeah,
make
and
me
when they shake and
be
all the little
happy.
downy stuff comes off, it's
Oh,
just, yeah, yeah.
no, no, no.
It's not doing it for you.
No, it's not doing it for me. No, thank you. Yeah, I'm really hoping that's not the case. So I'll look into that.
Yeah,
I'll
there we go.
report back
Sorry, I've just
later.
ruined the book that you're really looking forward to. Oh,
Yeah. And then the last one was All Superheroes Need PR, which is by Elizabeth Stevens. That's out on the 27th of May. That just looks fun, and it caught my interest because you don't get a lot of superhero books. I
no.
always think there should be more within like paranormal and fantasy romance. You'd think there would be
Well,
a
yeah.
lot, but
Incredibles did loads for it. So it's a,
maybe
yeah.
that will link in a little bit with like our fan fiction chat because
Well,
I
I was
can
going to say
imagine
that's
there's a
perfect for
lot of fan
topics. Yeah.
fiction.
Well,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. We will discuss it then. But yeah, mine kind of came into it because of a little bit of that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. I think,
mm,
and yeah, that will definitely come under our topic of the month, which we'll
indeed.
be doing in a couple of weeks, which is,
Hmm.
as we've
Fan
just said, it's
fiction.
going to be all about fan fiction and how it's
Yay.
affecting things. So yeah, this is our last one for this season of our
Hmm.
monthly book chats. Yeah, we don't know if we'll be back doing them in the autumn. We've still yet to decide our kind of our rota of stuff that we're
Yeah, where
going
we're
to do
going
then.
from here on out, but we'll keep you posted.
Yes. But next week we'll be having Brittney Arena back with us to talk about her one of her favourite recommendations, which is
Indeed.
Shadow and Bone. So
Nice.
yes, we shall see you then.
Bye.